Good evening. Welcome back to Crushing Sounds in this very long overdue latest episode, as it were. I apologise repeatedly, again and again and again. Eventually I'll get to a place where this will be more consistent. I really, really want it to be. I promise I do. But circumstances, timings, motivation, it all has to line up, really. But I couldn't miss this new album, really. Of course I couldn't. It's one of the biggest bands in the genre. Amon Amarth, one of the, biggest metal bands of the modern era, really. Before I get to that, though, LVT, I know I promised that album as well. As you might have noticed, I posted on our Facebook page a few weeks back that I made a review that was awful. It was terrible. It took way too long to get to the point. It wasn't witty. There's a joke in there that I made about where I was in 2006 or something. It was just bad. If you want a TLDR, as it were, for that album, it was good. Pretty much. If you like LBT, if you like folk metal, it was a good album. Bit too long. But decent album. I'm looking forward to seeing them at Bloodstock, because I do like the band, so there you go. Let me just adjust the camera there. Bit better. So anyway, LVT, okay album. Moving on now to one of the big anticipated albums of the year, Amon Amarth. Again, big players in the genre. You will know who they are at this point. Melodic death metal, and they have heavy emphasis on their Norse heritage. People call them Viking metal. The band have since denounced that title, saying they're not a Viking metal band, they're a melodic death metal band that sing about Vikings. I mean, I guess both titles are true. You could call them a Viking metal band, justifiably, and they're not wrong that they're a melodic death metal band about Vikings. So, whatever, you know me, I hate over-compartmentalization. They're a fucking metal band who love Vikings, and metalheads love Vikings, so, what's there to complain about? Yeah. Just nothing going wrong there. But Amon Amarth have been around in the metal scene for a very long time. They formed back in 1992, if their wiki page is anything to go by. But they've since become one of the most prominent figures in the genre, which is astonishing for a death metal band. Death metal has always been one of my favourite subgenres, as is my co-host Michael, but it's never been the big draw for the people outside of the genre. Normally it's your Slipknots and your Rammsteins, their album coming soon. Nothing against those bands, but they have an easier entry-level appeal. But Amon Amarth, I know plenty of people who really like this band who are not, I wouldn't consider extreme metal fans, but something about their aesthetic and their lyrical content, even though it's guttural vocals, it draws people in. I think that says a lot for this band. They're a death metal band that care about what could be construed as a quite cliche power metal aesthetic, but they pull it off. I can't say I've ever seen anyone have any damning views on Amon Amarth. It's just everyone loves Amon Amarth, and rightly so, because Amon Amarth are fucking amazing. I'll just disclaimer out the way. I'm not a Amon Amarth elitist or anything like that. I don't know all their albums back to back or anything. They have quite a few at this point. They're the epitome of the if it's not broke, don't fix it. You've heard one Amon Amarth album, you know how they all sound to a degree. It's not in terms of quality, but in terms of the style, you know what you're getting into with every Amon Amarth album. I think Banger TV on YouTube, who are really fucking good, by the way, check them out. Their review of the Amon Amarth album, I think, sums the band up quite perfectly. Just look at the review for the previous album, you've got the review for the next album. It's they don't want to piss about, really. It's just, we know what we're doing, we know what we're good at, we know what people like, so let's keep going. The pop industry do that a little bit, but I think it's much less cynical here. It's hard to explain, but if you've heard Amon Amarth, you know that they're good, and you know that they like to keep doing that which they are good at, really, so why bother deviating? For context's sake, I've reviewed their previous album back when this website was in its infancy, back when we were written the website, and I really, really liked Yom's Viking. Some people apparently thought it was alright. I thought it was really, really good. I loved it. I loved the narrative. I loved the songs. Way of Vikings, just fucking amazing. I love that song so much. Me and my brother would just, anytime we're in a car and I put that song on, it's just, we're singing along. It's so goddamn good. But, we now follow up with the latest album. It's called Beserker, and I can't help but think of the Beast in Black album. Not the same thing at all, but, Beast in Black's first album was really, really fun and whatnot, and then they emphasised the Beserker mythical creature, so just made me laugh, really. But, new album, Beserker. It's not a concept album this time, which, fine, whatever, but I feel like when you have an album which is a concept album and really well thought out and rounded in a very creative way, as soon as you deviate from that straight away, you immediately have knocked that new album for it not appearing as creatively thought out as the previous one. That might not necessarily be true, but it's a lot easier to prove creative intent with a concept album than a normal album. So to go from one to the other, it's a trickier sell, but I don't think Amon Amarth need to prove anything at this point. They've been doing this for a very, very long time, and we all love them for it. And this album, I mean, I've got notes on most of the album, but to be honest, a lot of it isn't really that useful. You'll know if you like this album or not before you've even listened to it. If you like Amon Amarth and what they've done, you'll like this album. If you don't like it, then you're one of the 1% of people that don't, and you won't like this album, which is fine, each to their own. But there are a few things on this album which I think are worth mentioning. There's a minuscule attempt to add a few more layers to what they're doing, but the problem is, and what really annoys me, is they're not expanded upon enough to make them worth a damn, which is really annoying, because the elements they're adding I really like a lot. The first track on the album is called Fafnir's Gold, which is a really good chorus, by the way. Fafnir's Gold! Really good. It has an acoustic introduction, which sounds really good. It builds into it really nicely. I know why they've used that for the intro, because it's quite easy to get an acoustic intro to segue into the album, but it's really good. I'd love to hear that throughout most of the album, and maybe it's because I came from the LVT album straight into this one, and LVT are the masters at having the Celtic acoustic stuff into the metal. Maybe there's some contextual reasons why I gravitate to that acoustic intro, but I don't think it would hurt them at this point in their career to bring in more of that, to really accentuate that. Crack the Sky has got a really good rhythm in the chorus. It's the second track on the album. It's all about Thor, and, I love the Avengers Endgame. How fucking sick was that? Amon Amarth, it's just perfect Amon Amarth territory. The following song, Mjolnir, Hammer of Thor, again, Amon Amarth territory, but I think I might piss a few people off when I say this. Mjolnir, Hammer of Thor, the riffs in it remind me a hell of a lot of the riffing from the second Bullet for My Valentine album. Now, I'm sure I've just lost a few people with that, but seriously, the second Bullet for My Valentine album, Scream, Aim, Fire, had a few progressive riffs that sound a lot like this song. Make of that what you will. I don't loathe early Bullet for My Valentine as much as most people do, so I'm fine with that. Yeah. Check it like 30 seconds of Scream Aim Fire album out and listen to that song. I can't stop. I can't hear it. I can't not hear it really. But other than that, things just trudge on in your normal Amon Amarth brilliance. Really. Track 7, jumping way forward here. Ironside has a male choral part about halfway, a little over halfway through, and it sounds really good. I want to hear more of this. A band this late in their career, they're doing everything they've done up to this point as well as they always have, so no one's going to blame them for adding anything new, but I feel like they're worried that we will have a problem with them adding something new, so when they do add a little bit something original, they're quick to bring it back, and I think that's a real shame because they're good musicians. Their creative insight is really, really good. So this new stuff is inherently really good. So it's really annoying that whenever something new comes in, it's immediately removed about 30 seconds later. So I don't like this album as much as Jumps Viking, because I really like that album a lot. I love the narrative, I loved Way of Vikings, is fucking amazing. But yeah, whatever. Yeah, this is a solid, brilliant Amon Amarth album, and that should be no surprise. But there are glimpses here in them really making it even better, but they're too scared to really push those new elements. So, my takeaway from this album feels like the perfect groundwork to where this band could go next, really. And people have been crying for them to push it further for quite a long time now, and if this is the groundwork for where that eventual next step will come, then this it's a perfectly serviceable album in their canon. I don't mean serviceable in a derogatory sense. It's still got some great songs that I'll look forward to seeing live, because they're one of the best live bands on the planet. Crack the Sky, Mjolnir, Fafnir's Gold, Shield Wall, Ironside, Beserker at Stamford Bridge. Great historical reference there. It's going to be great live, but there's glimpses at where it could have gone even further, and I think they did themselves a disservice not to make those points even bigger, really. So, yeah, Amon Amarth. You know if you love it, you know if you hate it. So listen to it either way, because if you don't like it, each of their own, but it's Amon fucking Amarth, one of the biggest metal bands around today. So yeah, apologies again for the delayed review of this, just took me a while to get round to it. Amon Amarth, great album, as per usual, no one's surprised here, so go check it out. Rammstein, releasing one of their first albums in a very, 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 very long time. Comes out on the 17th. I'll try and get round to that. I don't really know much Rammstein, if I'm going to be perfectly honest, but it's a big deal, so I'll get round to it. But fucking Tool. I'm the biggest Tool fan, despite never having seen them. I'm not the biggest Tool fan. I love Tool so much. They are my favourite band of all time. They got a new album coming out. So, for sure I'm going to review the fuck out of that. I'll get around to that as soon as I can. New Slipknot album coming out. Their latest song came out today as I record this. I might have grown out a bit of Slipknot, but whatever. I'll get around to them. We've got a hell of a lot of stuff coming up very soon, with new albums and whatnot. But until then, Amon Amarth, still kicking ass. Check out Amon Amarth. Sorry, LVT, although you probably don't know who I am. Your album was good. That's it. It was good. Keep up the good work. But yeah, keep listening to heavy metal. Stay tuned for more content coming to you very soon, hopefully. Thanks for checking me out. I'm Chris. See you next time. Bye bye.